So we are on the way to Red Square and Kremlin. I am not going to go inside the Kremlin itself. There are millions of videos on YouTube, and this is sort of set for any tourists to come here. But when you come here in this area, Kremlin area, Red Square area, you can actually spend at least half a day, maybe even whole day here, because there are so many museums here, so many wonderful places to see. Oh, I'm sorry, my nose is running on this cold. I've done it all 4 years ago. I brought my daughter here. My daughter is very, very English, but I brought her to Moscow to show her where her mom was born, that she can learn a little bit about her heritage. And I brought her in the winter. Let's just realize that winter here is not that cold as people think. There is no white bears on the Red Square. She loved it. She's absolutely loved it. As we're coming up to Red Square, a lot of people falsely think that Red Square is because it's color red, but it's not. Krasnaya площадь, as it's called in Russian, Krasnaya, it means red color, and also in old Russian language it means красивая. So it's called Krasnaya площадь, not because it's red, because it's красивая, it's beautiful площадь. All these red walls, all these ones, they actually was white and been painted red in the Stalin's time. This is why they actually call Moscow Moskva Белокаменная, Moscow white stone, because these walls actually used to be white. And of course, mausoleum where Lenin lie, not in peace. There are always different type of legends that the reason Russia not settled to have all these troubles, and because of his spirit, angry spirit flying around, because obviously by Russian Orthodox you have to be buried. And obviously Lenin had quite unsettled last couple of years before he died, with all his illnesses and rumors of poisoning and Stalin take over. So they're saying unless they bury Lenin, Russia never going to be in peace. There is a Christmas market here on the Red Square. It's here every year, and it's paid by GUM shopping center. But to be honest, it's quite difficult to see Red Square totally empty. It's always something going on here. Some sort of concerts, some sort of fairs, markets. They always do something. So if you are here and the Red Square is totally empty, it's a very rare occasion. They also got an ice rink here, but this one is quite expensive. If you're local, there are plenty of other ones which is for fraction of the price. Look, GUM already all light up. This is Moscow 0 kilometer, Russian 0 kilometer, but it's been put here in the Soviet time, and technically it's not here. This is used to be Museum of Lenin in Soviet time. I haven't been inside since then. Everything was there about Lenin. It also was very honored place to go and become a pioneer there. It's a sort of type of Boy Scout. I was a pioneer. I used to come here and honor other children myself. When I was at school, I actually was quite active pioneer, but not for reason that I really believed in it. if you're very active with sort of life like this, with the social life at school, in my time, you spend less time on lessons. So I did all type of work just not to go to my lessons. Of course, now it's a history museum, and I'm actually going to visit today, if they open, because I haven't been in this museum since I was a kid, since it was Lenin Museum. State Historical Museum was opened in 1872 to showcase Russian history. And first what you see is a majestic hall decorated with paintings detailing the family tree of Russian monarchs. Like every museum, sometimes they have some extra expositions. And today it's all about gold. And some of the pieces, oh, they're just amazing. And you're thinking, 300-400 years ago, they could create this. I'm a little bit stunned by this. 1772 it's been created. And it's been used gold, enamel, silver, paper, fabrics. It's so gorgeous. Lenin's Rolls-Royce. Car was bought in 1922, especially for him, for his personal use. If you are interested in Russian history and have time to spare, it's definitely worth a visit. Moscow was doing very well on international tourist site a couple of years ago. In 2021, Moscow got 2 World Traveler Awards, Best Destination Learning Cultural Heritage and Best City for Short Trips. Also, Michelin finally arrived in just about rate amazing Moscow restaurants. Also, Moscow applied for the Expo 2030, but of course everything did stop just a few months later. Michelin left, Moscow withdrew the application for Expo, and there we are now, in hope of domestic travel. I am in the park Zaryadye now. It's not far from Red Square, as you can see, it's right there, 5-10 minutes walk. In Soviet Union, there used to be hotel and concert hall here called Russia. I actually been there several times myself for different types of show. But then it got old and they decided it's easier to knock it down than actually renovate it. So they knock it down and then decide, well, we're not going to build anything, just make a big park, big public space here. It looks a bit bare now because it's winter, but in the summer, life here is booming. There's thousands of people come here for a walk. All these trees is blooming, is very green. This music playing really remind me of my childhood. In my childhood, the music always used to play everywhere, radio, in parks and public places. This is sort of mini amphitheater, as you can see, all the seats, because in the front is a stage. You can't really see it very well because it's covered in snow, but it's very often here happened like a small shows just there like a small stage. Different types of shows, well, local singers, and it's a nice place to spend time here. Very, very popular, this place. Look at this ice on Moscow River. That's the Red Square. All park in the summer come to life. All these cafes, which looked really sad in the winter and all closed, look, they're all open. Flowers, people having a drink, people having a meal. The main theme of Park Zaryadye is nature. The ecosystem of 4 regions of Russia have been recreated here. The park has everything for a perfect walk. There are trails with a total length of 8 kilometers, 256 benches if you get tired, and 480 lanterns if you decide to take your walk in the evening. The floating bridge is one of the most picturesque objects of the park. It's an unusual observation desk in the form of huge check mark at the height of 15 meters above the Moscow River, with no supporting structures. Don't worry about your safety of the bridge. It can support up to 1,000 people at the same time. Photo sessions are everywhere, and Russians love the photo, and they love pose the photo, and it doesn't really matter if they're women or men. Everyone taking the pictures. You just can imagine that tonight and tomorrow all Instagram will be full of photographs from this bridge. Because views are lovely. Just look at this. It's a 6:30, sun start going down. Red Square on the back. Looks really lovely. If you remember, all this was covered in snow, and look at this now. And traffic. It's very loud because it's a Moscow Jazz Festival. If you remember in the winter, I show you this theater, so there are sometimes live music happens here, an event, and it's free. Entry is free. You can just turn up. If you don't mind security looking through your bags, you can just go through them and enjoy it. And I don't know if you heard any of it or not. Can you see everything now closing off? Apparently all the roads to Moscow closed. They bring all the barriers here. It's very quiet here, but the police everywhere. Here, that's one. This is a new building. It just only look like it's old. There used to be Hotel Interest, infamous Hotel Interest. Most of the foreign tourists in Soviet Union used to stay there, and there was a hub of a prostitution. They used to call them Interdevочка, international girl. I'm walking now on Tverskaya. Used to call Улица Горького, Gorky Street. Maxim Gorky is a Soviet Union writer. So this street used to call under him, under his name. But in the 90s, they changed it back to Tverskaya, like it used to be always. All these beautiful decorations and the ones which was on a square in Lubyanka, they've been recycled since last year, but not because of sanctions, because they bought from Italian company and they cost small fortune, so they decide not to waste it and reuse them this year.